The following material may contain sex, coarse language, and violence.
Of course! Of course!
The champions made it to the lost fortress city of Parchstone, a cursed place ruined by magic war. By night, a dark and looming wreckage cloaked in misery and loneliness, and by day, a living memory clinging to a grotesque sham of life. By manipulating events by day and night, they make their way deep into the city, and eventually to the treasure vaults, learning much of the events that befell mysterious and isolated Parchstone along the way. Taking their fill of treasure, they evade the Weeping Angels through meta, and are confronted by their villainous former comrade Mara, now a vengeance-filled werewolf. But a Reaper appears suddenly, with no motivation known to the party in general, and kills their enemy. The champions use knowledge gained in the false day to free a great beast forced to serve as protector of the long-dead city. As a reward, the creature grants them a scale which they are driven to forge into a sharp flute for their chivalrous leader, Sephiro. They ride a dwarf rail to the surface in a mining town in Wintilda, where the local baron seizes the treasure they stole from Bermania. Stole from Bermania, that's the line. Just edit out that bit where I fucked up there. Witches and wizards once were free to manipulate the power the gods lay upon the world. They were respected, revered. The people believed them to be the protectors against the dark. But then, the truth was revealed of them, greedily draining the power gods gave for their own power-mad selfish ends, usurping magic to subvert the nobility. Some, desperate to rule the world, believing the ability to use magic made them superior to everyone else. Others, recklessly playing with the lives of people and the fabric of reality like bored, petulant children. Seeing this, the noble Burmans bravely stood up to the witches and wizards, demanding an end to their reckless misuse of the world. Arrogantly, the wizards refused, and brave Burman people rose up against their oppressors. The cruel wizards unleashed the power they greedily stole from the world and destroyed and enslaved thousands. But eventually, the free people developed special skills and techniques to combat the evil wizards, and were able to cleanse the land of them. And so, wise Bermany grew to prosperity as the largest and richest nation in the world, a powerful and respected trading hub, feared by the evil nations that supported wizardry, and respected by even their enemies. all thanks to their bravely eliminating the wizard menace. And so, we give thanks to the work of the noble and heroic witch hunters who freed them from magic tyranny so long ago. Now, let me tell you a story from an age of heroes. Don't you just want to kiss these lips?
The dry wind blows in from the western desert across the small mining/pot farming community of Thelmerstadt, a town in Wintilda, Dominion of Birmania. It blows through the square, parting around the clock, and on into the marketplace of brightly coloured and striped tent stalls and shops, divided by leafy trees preserved by frequent watering so that peasants don't get it. Tall peaked buildings in Gothic style bear down under the hot sun, mercilessly beating from above, as people mill around the square and areas of the markets, buying and selling in such a loud, continuous thrum that you can barely hear one hawker 3 feet towards the next one. In the midst of the chaos, a giant of a man sits against a wall updating his journal, a tiny rat perched on his shoulder, occasionally nibbling gross crap out of his ear. His armor is clean, as is he, and he smells slightly of lanolin, which comes from a sheep's bum. Not that he knows that.
Smells good, though.
Towering over the others around him, even leaning casually against the wall, his armor and his own is clean, although damaged, dented, scraped, and otherwise well used. He was
writing his journal, was he? Looked around, basically. Are you hungry again, Scribbles? I suppose once I finish this page, we can go back into the inn and talk about getting some food.
Sweet.
Have you heard from Adrena Sulan at all recently?
Sweet.
The rat responded with the leaden tones of, I live in your armor. How was I going to do that?
Well, you're not always in there.
Sweet.
Okay, fine.
The crowd ignored this byplay as Burman citizens had learned to ignore the strange and unusual. All but one, a hooded individual from across the square's eyes narrowed deep into his shadowy cloak. He would pay attention to this strange one, for he talked to a rat. A mental disease or a witch? Who would know? Deeper into the marketplace, a figure darts from rooftop to tent top with light-footed ease. Smaller than the giant, with sun-darkened skin and darker hair for sure. It leaped with the sure-footed grace of someone who had the wire walking proficiency. Not even needing to roll, with these ledges so comparatively wide to what we're used to. Far below, it stopped across one high-pointed roof, a Gothic architecture contrivance designed to keep the snow off, but it would surely never snow here. Oh, the Burmans, it shook its head. Would they never learn to just unstuff their pride and adapt? Oh no, things must adapt to them. She looks down on the market, observing how people move about. It was useful information. Already she could see who was being deceptive amongst the crowd. The merchants. All of them. She was
planning her next move. Maybe catching up with the rest of the team since it is getting late.
She thought with the sun high overhead.
Well, I've been up since morning. Well, into the morning.
Late for you.
Late for me, yeah. So I'll make my way back to the tavern.
Which way are you I actually do need to clarify, you are staying at Propping the Shaft, I believe?
Propping the shaft.
Oh, we are, okay.
Yes.
I thought it was the passing time in, but...
No,
Whichever
Propping
one.
the Shaft, it's the bigger inn.
Okay.
Yeah, we had to stay at the more expensive one.
That would be the passing time inn, but they're booked. It's also a clock tower, so you'd really be waking up.
I mean, those must be rare as... Well, in general, right?
Then the lavish Burmania? We bring roads, sewers, and clocks. Also, this big army. You want in, right? So, you were heading through the market or around it?
Through the market.
Through the marketplace.
Blending in.
The market people jostle you here and there in their inconsiderate nature. Large buff men in steel breastplates and scale running down their arms in the colours of the Wintelda Guard smirk at you for wearing a sword. You hear the occasional comment along the lines of, "That's cute, the half-naked woman thinks she is carrying a sword. Maybe she has buckled it on for her man friend. She is though part man, clearly, look at her. I reckon I could wrestle that one into my bed quite easily. Ha 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 ha. Ha ha ha, the Burmans say." Partway through the stall, an old woman reaches out from a stone building near the store and says,
Miss, I have goods you want, yes.
And what would they be? Yes.
Oh, precious things. Look, you are clearly from far off, I can tell. I have a sharp eye, you see.
The woman seemed completely unfazed by the startling yellow eyes you possess.
If you would come this way, I can show you fine silks all the way from Port Eos, fine rugs of Caliphate, a stick that they say is certainly very lucky. All the way from the far east, where they say the curly toes of their shoes mean that if they fall forwards, they'll just rock back up again. That's why they have them. Rat on a stick, even? Or perhaps you would like a rare dragon fang dagger. All are within.
At this moment I don't need anything, but I will come back.
Of course, good lady, of course.
She wastes no time grabbing the sleeve of a puffy-coated Serenian merchant passing through and saying,
You, sir, good ponce.
Roll.
moving on. As you're passing through the market, you see Saphiro leaning pretentiously against a wall. He towers above all else, and his freshly washed hair is a shining beacon of straw blonde.
I'll approach him from behind.
He's leaning against a wall.
He's leaning against the wall.
And the problem is...
So both.
I mean, I really won't be able to see you sneaking up if you're behind me
Okay, give me a
behind the
wall
wall.
climbing check. It's a percentile, don't forget.
Yes, it is.
You're gonna Spider-Man your way along the wall.
Big oof.
Yeah. Nope.
Good start to the night. Get those low
You
rolls.
may make a perception check.
Oh, here we go. Which one should I?
Need to find something better than a deodorant or balancer.
What's that?
Oof. That's a 16.
16.
That might actually be.
You don't know your stats?
No, that's too high.
Yeah, want to make another attempt at the wall because he hasn't noticed you go.
Did scribbles though.
No, I won't because I forgot that I can't climb walls.
That's a hell of a thing to remember.
Yeah. I'll just approach him from the side then,
Okay.
but silently.
Move
is
silently check.
Yes?
That's the same roll.
Yes, but it's
Yes.
Well, that is how it happened. You have to embellish things just a little, otherwise...
I didn't do
it
that.
sounds boring. Ah!
The rat jumps lightly from his shoulder onto her shoulder. This is not where I was. It's just this rat bug sticking out of your cleavage. Onto her shoulder.
I see you, Sulan.
I see you, Saphira.
He begins nibbling bits of dust out of your hair.
Hast thou seen anyone else?
No, you are the first for me to see today. I've seen no others.
I'm concerned.
I've looked, but I cannot see.
I mean, I'm not worried about Roya. She is
She's her own person.
indeed, and she can take care of herself. I'm just worried Lee's going to do something brash and stupid while he's here. Insult some woman or...
Their conversation continued banally into the afternoon, as meanwhile, a bald-headed man with a bright, heavy torque around his neck was wandering through the marketplace, a long bone staff made out of the bone of some kind of long-legged thing, with a lump on the end. Propped across his shoulders with his wrists hanging off both sides. A young child brushed past him. He quickly whirls around and grabs him by the collar and says, "Ah, why so foolish to take a purse from me? That are unwise. You should only take purse from useless people like stuffy guard or women, things like that." Relieving the purse from the urchin, he pushes them along the way with the rough of his boot and a chuckle. Bouncing the purse on his palm, he a flash of consternation crosses his face as he realizes that it only weighs half as much as it did before. Grunting annoyedly, he swaggers over to a local shop of trinkets. He's like, "Ah, your bone work is interesting. I have much to sell myself," and begins negotiating in trade. While this is going on, a dark patch-cloaked figure, squat but muscular, with broad shoulders, rides into town. It has been some time since he has seen town, and his supplies are running low, although, thanks to encounters in the dark range to the south, his purse is weighed down with nice gold. He walks into an inn, the one he would usually occasion. Tall, blue-tiled, steep roofs and freshly white-tinted walls with cross-beams. He had a deal with the innkeeper here. He would do well. He walks up to the bar. A tall, pale woman is playing music on the far side of the room. He is relatively interested in the music, but more interested in getting an ale and some food into him. He was...
Finish the sentence.
Who could they be talking about?
Hunched over, approach the bar.
Welcome to the robbing the shop. Can I? Oh, hello.
Supplies, friend.
Of course. Siri, get me some supplies for my friend here. He will need bread, cheese for a week. And no doubt you have your horse as well. Go get the stable boy to take care of the horse. Good oats mine. Here, you will want an ale.
Of course.
Slides a pewter mug across. He rails the ale back like a big man. like a
Big damn hero.
big man. What a big man he is.
It's nice of you to slam it on the bench. Now it's fucked.
The bench or the cup?
Both.
Yes.
Drinks from
You
the
accommodated us in times, Brandon. He says, quickly pulling a fake name out of the air. There are strangers come up from the dwarf mines that they have been to the parched stone, all the way through the cursed desert and back. That's one of them playing music over there, and they say that the one they call the cart driver, well, they have no cart, is sitting in the corner drinking me out of my finest wines.
I'll look, but just enough from the cloak so I don't show too much face.
The corner booth is deep in shadow, and the figure is certainly well enshrouded in his own cloak, almost like he's got something to hide. You know that look from no experience, but perhaps from a different angle. The Baron has seized their treasure, they say, because of course it came from Germany. And how have you been? Keeping out of trouble, I hope.
As best I can.
Your friends came through earlier in the big party. Said they're looking for a rebel down from Strumblet. I should keep a wary eye open if I were you.
How many?
3. Although one of them was very pale.
Interesting.
This was 2 days ago now.
And what of the night? Any strange happenings? Disappearances? Deaths?
Not for some time. Though I might have not reached me yet. There is always some mining accident or other going on. The dwarves are always complaining. We have seen more stone trolls down from the mountains over the past month and more.
It's good.
Will you be wanting a room? I do have one left. It's upstairs though.
Of course. Slide the coin across the table.
He makes it disappear with a casual way of pretend that there's a key there.
Magic. Kill.
Meanwhile, back in the marketplace.
Sulan, I was considering perhaps it would be a good idea while we're here and waiting to talk to the Baron's son and see if there's any way we can assist them with anything in the town. Perhaps pick up some small jobs here and there. It wouldn't harm to ingratiate ourselves to this Baron and his people while we are here. It might put him us in favour with him, and we might be more likely to get away with not just nothing.
I wouldn't say get away, but yes, you're right. I mean, it is getting quite dreary staying here. It's been too long. I hate staying in one place for too long.
Yeah, so we should get moving, but of course
We can't.
stuck here for the moment. But
Yes. Well, I'll leave the talking to you.
it's a shame we can't. It'd be good to locate at least Adrin and Lee before we.
I'll try and find them again if you wish.
We could probably go and find the Baron's son and at least make it known what our intentions are.
I'll do another lap and then I'll meet you back at the inn.
As I said, I don't remember the Baron's son's name.
Yeah, I was like, and the thing is, I was listening just 2 days ago to the thing. I'm pretty sure it began with an O and was German or something like that sort of.
We'll call him Oscar from now
But yeah.
I'm going to have written that down, but he's just so unimportant. Meanwhile, darkness surrounded him. He was a pathetic-looking creature with straggly white hair and the frame of some kind of skinny book reader. And he was tied to a chair. That wasn't good. And blindfolded. That was worse. Thick-knuckled idiots had left him alone in this barn, and that was his opportunity. He knew from experience with these oafs that being here when they got back would probably lead to another painful beating. He was...
Okay, so how am I tied to the chair?
with rope.
Yeah, but like...
You are tied to the chair using strong knots with your arms basically against the ladder back and wrapped around. Also around the ankles.
But my hands can touch each other, right?
No.
Oh. So the ring activates when I rub it, right? I can learn any knowledge.
Yes.
So can I rub it with my thumb to
Yes.
learn how to untie these knots?
So you want rope use?
Yes.
Okay. Now I believe you have to make rolls.
Yeah.
John rolls.
I mean, I don't know about your character, but you're really good at breaking chairs. You should just break the chair.
I'm not good at breaking chairs, you fucktard. This is way less organized than I thought it was. It's not this one. So this one. Look, I found on my
Can you believe that still goes?
what
Is
was
that the
this?
cell wrong?
Yep.
Wow.
What happened to it?
It got
Oh,
dropped.
I mean, aside from Shannon's parents destroying it twice,
Oh,
it's old.
so it's not just Shannon that breaks things.
No, it seems to be inherited.
Okay. Do you have a Sharpie?
Yes, actually I do. It's blue though.
That's fine.
So I take it you've taken a point.
I have taken a point!
Good. Ugh. Ugh. I was going to say, you might want to hang on to that.
Okay, so I have rope use.
Okay.
Can I untie the knots?
Yes. They are so basic it's not funny. As you are untying the knots around your wrists, working them slowly with your long, nimble mage fingers, you reflect briefly on how Saphiro probably would have just flexed his muscles and broke out of this, or Sulan would have obviously never been caught in the first place, and you know what? Fuck Lee.
But it's easy.
It would be easy for him. But oh no, it had to be you, didn't it? Had to use your magic ring to get out of this. And of course, it was the bullies again. You know, you thought you were free of this. Rage builds up inside you.
Oh, that's a bad miss.
Rage builds up inside you. You know exactly what you would like to do to them once you got your hands on them. You are free of the chair. The ropes lie forlornly on the ground as the barn door opens and a slopey four-headed, white-knuckled idiot lumbers in, bent back from long time at the farm. They squint at you, realize you are free, and say, "Hey, he's free!" You hear more scrambling from outside as he pulls out a club.
Is any of my equipment in here?
Yeah, it's lying over there against the wall, exactly one move action away.
Can I make a move for my sword?
Yes. This would be the sort of short John Pate,
It'd be a what?
the fancy sword you got in.
Yeah. It is.
Okay, you move over there and pick up the sword. He moves towards you, swinging his club in a violent clubbing motion, like a club. Your armor class is 10, isn't
It's
it?
10, yeah.
Okay, the club bounces off of your back with a resounding... Oh my god, I get to roll damage? Oh shit, that's 4 damage, bro!
A whole mage!
It's a mage of damage! Others run in going, he is the faggot what pretended he couldn't talk, get him!
I'm going to attack the person in front of me.
Roll your damage. Okay. Your sword leaps from its sheath, almost like you've done this before, and striking with the same motion, you draw a horizontal line across his gut. His intestines spill out over the floor as he desperately tries to scoop them back in, his face going pale from panic, shock, and, well, probably blood loss. Slumping onto his knees, he pitches over onto his side, wailing in high-pitched, girly tone. The other two are angered by this and charge you, swinging their clubs in a clubbing motion. The first one slips on the blood and misses you, collapsing in a heap in the dust on the other side. The other one also does that, landing on top of his friend in a weirdly sexual position as they scrabble and hump at each other, trying to get up.
Can I skill them both while they're on the ground?
You can. They would receive a -4, it doesn't matter, their AC is 10. They receive a penalty to their defense against your attack against your prone melee range opponent. However, since you're trying to skewer them both with the same thing, I'm going to reduce that penalty by half, which still doesn't give them any bonuses at all. So that's still 10.
That's a hit.
You have killed them. You have killed them. Fine sons of the soil who toiled away, and whose only crime was hating you with a bitter, pointless passion. Their blood spreads out across the straw-covered floor of the barn. The one cow in the barn looks over completely nonplussed. Moo, it says. Moo.
I'll get the rest of my equipment. Get the rest of my equipment, clean my sword.
Mm-hmm. You put your clothes back on.
Yeah.
And put your books back in the pack. Some of them have been ruined. The important ones.
The important ones?
I don't know, just pick 2 books, I don't care.
I have a bunch of books.
Yeah, you've actually got more than you can fit in your pack if you are also carefully packing potions, so you do need to leave a couple behind. I don't think you realise how big books are, or how heavy. But anyway, stumbling out into the sunlight, you realise you are at home. It's very familiar. That burnt scorch mark over there with the bits of timber sticking out of it is exactly where your house would have been.
Really?
Fields, nuts, farming peasants, big manor house.
I'll head to where my house used to be then.
Yeah, there's a burned wreck there.
There's just nothing.
It's been completely wiped out. Some people notice you standing there and begin muttering amongst themselves, pointing at you and saying things like, mutter.
Do I have a general idea on the distance between where we were and where I am now?
Half a day.
Half a day.
Half a day on a merchant's cart.
Half an merchant's cart.
If you were running, you could make it in a quarter day.
But so currently I'm dressed like a mage. You know what I mean?
Actually, I believe you are currently dressed as a not mage
Yeah, you
disguise.
remember
Yeah.
you deliberately didn't,
Yeah.
unless they dressed you like one. Then.
Yeah.
Your robe is in your pack.
Yeah.
Unless you dressed it by habit in your robe.
No, probably not.
I'm a big fan of probablys.
I mean, you wouldn't have put that on for days, weeks.
Yeah.
possibly
Month and a half.
There we
basically.
go.
Yeah.
2 months.
Oh, well, I wore it in Parchstone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when we were underground.
So,
that's
you know, a
right.
couple weeks a month.
Yeah.
I believe it's like Makiro 16.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna push through the crowd and start getting
A
back.
couple of them are saying things like, "Hey, it's that silent boy what run off. They said he was a witch, that's why we burned down his house."
Yeah, don't his parents live outside of town now? I think they do. Should we restrain him in some way?
No, it's not. Remember what happened to the Viscount's son?
I'm wearing my sword on my hip as well. It's like
Oh.
very obvious.
Well,
Actually, after hearing that, I'm gonna just head out of town and look for where my parents might be. Actually.
meanwhile, back in town.